I'm Carrie here from Healing Humanity, the power of a proper human diet, and we have our carnivore Q&A Thursday night live. We're going to be doing some giveaways. We're going to be trying to answer your questions. We may have a few others joining us here on the panel tonight, but so far we got Adam Lacey from Carnivore Today. We got Ashley from Carnivore Brothers. How's it going?
Hey, hello, doing great. Adam, you
Awesome.
might be muted. I don't know.
Yeah, Adam, I think you're muted there. So we're going to be doing some giveaways, and let me announce that real quick so we can start gathering those. What do you think, Ashley? What should we give away? Shirt, salt shaker.
I'm sporting the blue shirt. That's what we're giving away. We could definitely do that first.
Let's do it. We will give away a Healing Humanity shirt in blue. Post your best question with hashtag ribeye. And I don't know if Dr. Nelson's joining us, but any questions that you have, Adam and I just got back from filming our final interview for the main documentary, Healing Humanity, after 60 interviews, 400 hours worth of footage, travel around the world. We were in the UK, we were in Australia, we were in Canada. We have wrapped filming for the main documentary. So if you have any questions about that, we're happy to discuss that as well.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. There you go. Adam's back. Yep.
All right.
That's a huge milestone right there.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's unbelievable. And we wrapped up. Our final interview was with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Dr. Shawn Baker, who coined the term carnivore and is the reason that so many of us, if you track it back, are carnivore. I know a lot of people saw Dr. Baker on Joe Rogan. He was on there twice, or they read his book, or a lot of people heard about carnivore through Jordan Peterson or Michaela Peterson, which in some ways tracks back to Dr. Baker as well, because he called up Michaela Peterson when she was doing a big elimination diet and said, you know what? It's okay if you just eat meat. You'll be just fine. Meat is the most nutrient-dense food in the world, and it'll give you everything you need. And so, yeah, it was a heck of a week. Really, really good stuff. So looks like we got some questions coming in. Hashtag ribeye with your best question. And before we get into the questions, we got to do a quick announcement. Let me see. What do I got here? We've got a couple big meetups coming up. Boston
next.
Boston's next, June 28th in Boston. Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Lisa Wiedemann, Professor Thomas Seyfried, Dr. Nelson. I'm going to be there. Adam's going to be there. And Diane Ladd, who's become a good friend. She came out to the Montello meetup. She came out to I think she was in Tampa also. So if you want to join
Dr. Boz.
Dr. Boz is going to be there. That's a heck of a lineup. That's coming up soon too, June 28th. In order to secure your tickets for that, visit drkiltz.com. I think he's got that listed right on his homepage. And yeah, we don't have. I was going to click Seattle. We're done with Seattle.
Seattle's done, but after that, you've got Montello.
Montello, July 26th. Healing Humanity meetup in Montello, and the tickets are going fast. I just heard the VIP tickets just sold out. Bob Eater picked up the last ones. We met Bob out in Tennessee at the Dr. Barry meetup. He gave a heck of a testimony at the end of that meetup. Hey, we got to see if Bob wants to share a little bit. Yeah, we'll have to ask him. No pressure. Bob's probably in here on the chat.
I'm sure he'll probably bring his jeans to show again.
Yeah, bring the jeans, Bob. So if you want to join us in Montello, it's healinghumanity.movie/events. And the other big one, I forget to shout out sometimes, Hack Your Health in November. Adam, do you remember the code?
HH Life.
HH Life. Get you like $100 off?
Yep, $100 off. Get your tickets, use code HH Life.
That's going to be an incredible event. One of my favorite events that we went to that we didn't host. It's fun going to other events, but that was like everyone's going to be there, including our good friend Bill Knott, who's going to be coming out and sharing his story on the stage at Hack Your Health. So hackyourhealth.com. All right, guys, should we jump into some questions here?
Sure.
Yeah, Bob Eater's here. Oh, here he is, right in the chat. He was in the last one too. Bob got the last VIP ticket for Montello. Awesome.
Bob.
Can't wait to see you, brother.
There are still standard tickets available. That was just the VIP that sold out, I think. So
if you're interested in going, I would highly encourage you. Go get a ticket and don't wait till the last minute because I have a feeling that one's going to fill up. But I'm surprised how many people. Little town of Montello, 1,400 people coming out to the Montello Theater. It's pretty awesome.
Yep.
That's
It's
going to be.
selling quickly. So I agree. I wouldn't wait around if you're planning on going, get the tickets.
We got Dr. Kiltz, Coach Lisa is coming also, and I got to check again. I think Dr. Nelson might be coming as well. And we may have another surprise mystery guest. I'm not going to say their name, but it's pretty incredible if that happens too. So
cool. And Lynn, Midlife Carnivore, will be there as well.
Lynn, Midlife Carnivore. Yeah, Adam and I just finished filming her incredible story for Healing Humanity. So, all right, we got some questions here. Let's
Carrie,
see.
when Lynn got off of the plane, did you get some residual dust that kicked up from the plane that got in your eye too?
I think there was a wind or a fly or something flew into my eye. It's really weird because it's been happening. It happened quite a few times over the course of the week filming. I noticed that you had some wind in your eye as well.
I did.
Lynn's husband, Dave, he had the wind of brutal wind out there. Yeah, that was something special. I mean, I'm so grateful that Lynn let us film that. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, Lynn has had an incredible transformation, incredible healing on a carnivore diet. So inspiring. And one of her big goals, there's just something powerful about someone setting a big, audacious goal and reaching it. Lynn's husband, Dave, has been a pilot into aviation his entire life. And for 35 years, they've had a little plane, and Lynn's never in her life flown in it. Never flown in a little plane, never flown with Dave, never able to share that passion that Dave had or adventure. And she did that, and we filmed it, and it was pretty crazy. It was pretty incredible. So looking forward to sharing that with everyone. Lynn got a little bit of wind in her eyes too at the end of it. Very windy all around, but all right, let's see what questions we have here. Reflux sucks. I agree. Wondering if someone could recommend a good clean brands of DAO supplements that are effective. Thank you so much.
Too bad Lynn's not here because she actually
say,
uses one of those, and I don't remember the exact brand of that. So you could probably email Lynn at healinghumanity.movie, and I'm sure she'd give you a good answer on that one.
Is that something with histamines?
Yes, it helps break down histamines.
Yeah. Shoot Lynn an email. She's usually here on Thursday nights, but got some things going on tonight. But she'll answer you for sure. Bob Eater got the last VIP ticket. Jeannie, is Amanda Carnivorous Me in the movie, and how is she? Unfortunately not, but man, if it worked out, I'd love to potentially have her in the Healing Humanity series. We were in talks with her, and as everyone probably knows here, she kind of dropped offline for a while to, I think, focus on her health, which is probably an important thing to do. But would absolutely love to potentially film her at some point for the ongoing series for sure. Amanda is amazing. She was a huge inspiration to me when I first started. I watched Dante Ferrigno, a little bit of Dr. Barry, but in terms of individuals, I remember watching Amanda quite a bit back in the day. Lady Devanish, will the documentary be shown in a theater in Iowa? I hope so. That's the plan. We're hoping to actually premiere it and show it in a lot of small, independently run theaters around the country, including Montello Theater, potentially the theater that we just had the big meetup in Washington. That was a really cool little theater. I'm like,
I talked to him about that, and he was all amped up about it. When we get it ready, he would love to have it there in his theater as well. So
that'd be so much fun. Do a big meetup.
That if you have a small town theater, something like that you know of, and shoot us over that email and that information, because we're going to need to start lining that stuff up, at some point here in the very near future. So would love to get details of some of those local theaters that we can utilize. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I'd love to. A little premiere of the movie and then a carnivore meetup and kind of have them go together like we just did would be a lot of fun. So we're hoping to get it on some big screens. It's probably going to be like a hybrid. It's what happens with a lot of documentaries where they're potentially on the big screen for a little bit and then on some of the streaming services is the goal.
Carrie, in regards to that, I'm glad that you own a small theater.
Yeah, we got one for sure.
Yes, and you know the process of getting these films in and then, getting them on your projector and all that sort of a thing. So now you'll be on the other end of it, right? Like making sure that our film gets out to these other theaters and they get the drive and the encryption keys or whatever it is that
Right.
has to happen in that regard. So
I know it's crazy, and it's kind of providence. Like how the heck that worked out?
Right.
Because I was thinking about that, and it's very true. It's also, I'm a big advocate for supporting your small independent movie theaters. I'm sorry, but this is a little off topic, but it's so much cooler than going to like a big box warehouse movie screen. A lot of them are individually owned, family run theaters. And it's kind of a dying thing, but this is a great way to prop them up as well. So if we go to the theater in Iowa or we go back to that one in Washington, we're going to fill that whole thing up, show the movie, and get people in the doors. And yeah, it's
Jesse and the crew there at the Majestic Bay when we were at in Seattle, they were so willing to help, take care of us, do that. And I've worked with some of the other chains on setting up some of these meetups, and they're all very good, but not nearly the same.
Yeah, those guys were great. And that theater was so cool. Lots of history. Lots of history happened right in that location. So Joe has a question, and just a quick reminder, we're going to be giving away a Healing Humanity shirt. Post your best question with hashtag ribeye. And if you're interested in our membership site, healinghumanity.life, we have a new promo code special offer for this month. Life625 will get you 50% off your first month. We've got about 12 Zoom calls going on a week, and we've got courses and all sorts of great community. We just got off our Thursday Inspire Together call we had. That was awesome. It's one of my favorite calls we do throughout the week. So come and consider joining us if you'd like. The question from Joe, anyone get stuck with glucose stuck over 100? Nope.
I don't measure my glucose, so I can say that I do not know.
I don't know either.
I can say I do. I think that is something just from as high and as extreme as it was for me. It definitely came down when I fast. Obviously, it comes down quite a bit lower than that. But just at my normal eating patterns, I usually see that's right there, right around 100 for me. And that's been pretty common. My A1C has come back in check every single time I do my 3-month average blood work. And it usually pans out just fine. But usually I check in the mornings. And in the mornings, it's usually right around the 100 mark.
All right.
So your fasting blood sugar, first of all, it's a one snapshot of glucose as it's either going up, going down. It changes every day, multiple times, depending on what you eat. It doesn't say how long this person has been carnivore. So if you've been carnivore for 3 years with a fasting blood sugar of 100, it's one thing. If you've been carnivore for just 3 months, it's another thing. It's just not going to be at optimal levels. Optimum meaning probably somewhere in between 80 to 90 on someone who has no insulin resistance. But depending on how long you've had problems with glucose, if you have been diabetic like moi for 29 years, even though my A1C is 5.4, I also have problems sometimes trying to get it under the 100. And fasting is one thing that works. If you're able to do once a day and definitely no snacks in between, that also helps. Doing once a week, skipping a day of eating, that makes it almost a 48-hour fast immediately. On a regular basis, you don't have to do extremely prolonged fastings, but if you do a regular 1 day a week, that may be helpful as well. And there are other things that you might want to do depending on where you are. If you, again, don't know if it's carnivore for 5 years and having 100 glucose, or carnivore for 2 weeks and still have 100 glucose. So.
Right.
All right, Pool Player 361, hashtag ribeye, recently started carnivore and loving it. Will it help in healing bladder issues? So it sounds like a good
Yes.
Dr. Nelson one.
Proper heat
Any
equals
so,
yes.
of course, if the follow-up question is, do you have any studies? You know, we may have studies about this, maybe not, but there is not a lot of studies. Anecdotal evidence is very, very loud as a signal that anything that's inflammatory will eventually get better. And chronic cystitis, among other things, chronic UTIs, these may get better and probably will. I don't see anything that's inflammation getting worse with a carnivore diet. It seems it helps any and all inflammatory conditions. Not all of them will improve to the point of perhaps resolution, but there is a very good chance that it's going to improve.
All right. D. Lee, how was your trip to Seattle? Adam, that's a question for you.
It was fantastic. It was a source of pain and soreness. So for those of you that haven't watched Carrie's most recent video, Dr. Baker definitely put us through the ringer in terms of physical fitness on Monday when we interviewed him. So it was basically like he had posted himself, 4 hours of working out and 2 hours of interviewing, and it definitely still feels like that today for me.
Wow. I have a question.
Yeah.
Which was harder, Maggie or Dr. Baker?
Whew. I would say Maggie, because Maggie was like a week.
Yeah, there you go.
Daily for a week.
I agree.
Yeah.
But you know, in an acute manner, you know, for the intensity that we had,
We almost died with Dr.
walking a
Baker.
quarter mile with 120 pounds. That was just, oh man, I literally felt like I was going to die. I know Carrie did too.
Yeah. But other than that, it was a wonderful trip. It was a wonderful way to conclude filming for the main documentary. That part of the country was just beautiful. I have a quick picture I'll share. This was on the airplane. Adam, did I get back yesterday? I don't even know where I am right now. It was the day before yesterday, I think I got back.
Yeah.
I left at like 3 a.m. Look at this shot from the plane. Beautiful.
Awesome.
I was like falling asleep and I looked out the window. I'm like, man, I'm missing the show out here. This is just gorgeous.
We on our drive back, we were heading south, and it was crazy. Like the view of just Mount Hood, like as we were driving back, was just beautiful. It was perfect. The sun was setting on it. It was such a. You're right. That area of the country is so pretty.
And we were blessed with just amazing weather. We were thinking we're
And
going to
you
get
don't
rain.
find that very often up there in the Northwest. So we really hit a good week.
I don't think we saw any rain at all. Rob has a question. Hashtag Ribeye. What are your thoughts on 1 meal a day versus multiple day fast? Do you recommend mixing things up regarding fasting? I'll give that one a shot. Yeah,
sure.
go ahead.
Hey, go ahead.
I was just going to say, everyone's different. It depends on where you're at. I try not to overthink it too much. I've done both. I just kind of naturally fall into 1 meal a day when I first started carnivore. I think because I had a lot more body fat and sometimes I'd forget to eat. Now I eat a little bit more than that, but I guess it depends on your reason for fasting. I would say that I feel like all of this works so well because it's what humans have naturally done since the start of time. And since the start of time, we wouldn't have had any regimen. Like every 3 days, I'm eating precisely at this time. We would have hunted a big animal, we would have feasted, and then it might have been another week or another 3 days or another day before we ate another meal. So if it ends up being somewhat random, I think that's kind of a good thing and probably what we've been doing all along anyhow. All right. Question from H4KNSL4K. Anyone add baking soda to ground beef or any other ground beef tips? I've never done that.
Never done that.
Never heard of
myself.
that.
No.
Wonder
That's
the
what all
reason is for
Chinese
that.
restaurants use for tenderizing their meat.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've never tried that. My only ground beef tip is I like the texture a little bit different sometimes. I don't know. You can cook ground beef many ways. I remember when I first started cooking it, I'd cook it, it'd be cooked and it'd be kind of gray and it'd be kind of rubbery. Or you can chop it up a little finer and get like the crispy edges, almost like a smash burger, and it's got a completely different taste and texture. Add a little bit of butter in at the end. So that's what I like to do with my ground beef. I usually eat it with breakfast, more of a smash burger kind of crispy style.
Yeah, I'd probably go the exact opposite. Like 1 inch thick patties and cook them to where they're maybe cooked through 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch on all sides, and the inside is essentially raw. So I know that's probably gross for a lot of people, but to me, it tastes really, really good, and it ensures that you have a juicy burger and don't end up with a hockey puck.
Yeah. Carnivore Crystal. It was a pure joy to meet Carrie and Adam at the HH meetup in Seattle. The whole event was so meaningful and inspiring. Thank you, everyone who participated and worked behind the scenes. God bless you all.
Oh yeah, awesome! I remember her too. Very cool. I'm glad to put an account with a face now. That's awesome. It was really awesome meeting you too.
Yeah, absolutely. So many awesome people.
Mhm.
Caleb from Caleb's Carnivore Quest came out with the arm wrestling table too, and he sent a nice message like this afterwards. He said it was just like a life-changing experience for him, and he's really excited to get up to the next one. So shout out Ashley again for putting these incredible events together.
That table was my favorite moment of all weekend.
Yeah, you beat Dr. Kills. I saw it. It's fantastic. That was such a cool idea. I'm so glad Caleb did that. That was such a great idea.
It was so fun too, because the second it was out, I looked around. Adam had his 360 camera, so we got a really good shot of it. But it was like a scene out of a movie. Like everyone just moved in and
yeah.
started circling around it.
I was like, what's going on over there? There's a big crowd. Yeah, it's fun.
Well, except for at the very end when we had the drunken people trying to take over the table.
We
Right.
had lots of beach goers that wanted in on the action.
Lisa's asking, what time of the day do you guys have your first meal of the day?
About noon for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about right for me. Although sometimes Jen makes me breakfast earlier, so sometimes I'll have eggs and bacon for breakfast, maybe a little bit earlier than that, 10. I'm usually not hungry though. I'm just like, if there's bacon, I'm going to eat it. But otherwise, noon is probably about it.
It varies for me a little bit too. About noon is if I'm eating TUMAD, that's when I usually eat my first meal. But if I'm doing OMAD, it's usually I like to wait till a little bit later, so I don't usually eat till 4 or 5, maybe even 6 o'clock sometimes.
Zane is asking from Australia, do you think bulletproof coffee will break a fast?
Yes, it will. So technically, calories will break a fast. Any coffee potentially may not, but technically that still would break a fast. What do you guys think?
If you're fasting, yes, it will break a fast because anything, including fat, will have an increase in blood sugar, an increase in insulin as a response. However, if you've read Dr. Walter Longo, if you've read anything from him or heard him on lectures, he's in UCLA. He studies longevity, very appropriate with his last name, Longo. He's Italian. He uses not absolute fasting, but he uses a fasting mimicking diet in his fasting experiments. What that looks like for a human would be anything under 800 calories, and he has some specific percentage of macros. So he basically, it's an 800 calorie maximum, and he calls that fasting mimicking diet. Why? Because that's really not enough for any human for nourishment in a day, and he runs his experiments with that. So there was a time where I was doing multiple weeks, 3-4 day fasting, and if I ate anything, would have been usually fat or fat and very little amount of muscle, because I wanted to be at as high level of ketosis as possible for what I was trying to accomplish. And so thinking about Dr. Longo's and his suggestions. So absolute fasting is basically that. It's just you don't eat. That includes the butter and the bulletproof coffee or anything you're putting, MCT oil. So strictly speaking, yes, it breaks it, but may not have as bad of an effect of eating a steak. If you're eating a steak and you were supposed to be fasting, well, you're definitely breaking your fast.
All right. Question. And we're going to be giving away a Healing Humanity shirt in just a minute. Hashtag ribeye with your best question. Jay Mander, what are your girls' plans for life after high school? They are awesome. Love the Compassionate Carnivore. I don't know.
Leave off their parents.
No, I was going to say they've got summer, and then we're kicking them all out of the house, and they can figure it out. No, actually, hopefully they probably won't move out for a long time. But my daughter Katie wants to go to college for business. However, she's running a small business with Emma, the Compassionate Carnivore stuff you mentioned there. So I encourage them, go through summer and work your butts off like it's a real job, like this is your full-time gig, and see how that goes through summer, and then make a decision from there. Because why go to college for business when you're already running a business? There's no other better way to learn it than that. But so they're going to take the summer to do what they're doing, but they're all working various jobs, and they're doing well. So thank you for that. Amy Hosp said, if I come to Wisconsin meetup, will you let me in the door? See that bean dip rolling over the hill? I'm going to be running.
The bean dip.
Once you're parked and safe, maybe
Put wheel chocks on it and the boot,
right?
So it can't move.
We'll have to have it impounded at the police department. And that's a running joke that Amy's van's name is Bean Dip, and we're gonna film a little short horror movie clip about it. Yes, Amy, it would be awesome if you come up for sure. Dustin Hall has a question for Adam. Have your forearms recovered from that farmer's carry with Dr. Baker? I bet they were on fire.
Mine have not. I guess I'm not carnivore enough.
Yeah, what are you doing?
That was intense. That was super intense. I'm usually working on a keyboard, not really working out with weights like that. So that's my excuse, anyways.
I was feeling it for sure. I feel a little bit better now, but I was feeling it too in muscles I hadn't used before, like in the shoulders, because I think they were just pulling down so much. But we survived.
Yeah, you really used a lot of extra muscles that you're not used to, especially because you're having to walk and literally run back up that hill trying to get there.
I wish I could do it again now. Adam was smarter. He started with a faster pace because it's the grip that goes to the first. So yeah. The legs go last, but the grip goes first. That was the hardest part, was holding on to that thing.
I went farther than Kerry did to start with, but I think he probably completed it faster than I did. But you also beat me on the Olympic rings when you were doing your Simone Biles impersonation.
Who knew I was such a gymnast?
Was it called the cat flip? No.
Skin in the cat.
Skin in the cat.
Yeah.
Funny.
Lisa's asking, will carnivore help with Meniere's disease?
That's a good question. I would think there should be some improvement. Like I said, sometimes you never get to resolution of a problem. It's yet another type of inflammatory. A lot of people have hearing improvements. I've had some. I do wear hearing aids. I still need them, but my hearing test was better than 2 years ago. And this month is my 2-year anniversary, carniversary. So there might be some improvement. A lot of people report improvements with vertigo, a closely related problem to Meniere's, which includes vertigo. So hearing improvement, dizziness, vertigo improvement. So I would say I would expect some improvement, if not resolution, depending on what the specific cause of the Meniere's disease was. But I don't think it would get worse.
Jolene, if you don't have a gallbladder, do you need to take any supplements on carnivore? I don't have a gallbladder, and I think I got some ox bile, but I didn't end up taking it. I know a lot of people will take a little bit of ox bile if they don't have a gallbladder, but it seems like for many carnivores don't have a gallbladder. I've learned that.
Yeah. And the question is, do you need to take any supplements? Most people eventually, even if they take some, whether it's digestive enzymes or ox bile, or they usually get adapted, and you continue doing as if you had your gallbladder.
Yeah. All right. Should we give away this shirt?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Here we go. Drum roll. Nice. The winner of a Healing Humanity shirt in blue. Jolene, congratulations with the gallbladder question and the win on the shirt. Double whammy there.
The question ribeye juju. What'd you call it? Good luck.
Right? Yeah, there you go. You ask a question, it increases your odds of winning. Adam, how does Jolene claim their shirt?
Well, Carrie, Jolene can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway and fill out the form, and Ashley will promptly send you a shirt. Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right. We're going to do one more giveaway here. We will be giving away a 30-day free membership, 1 month free on healinghumanity.life. #life with your best question. #life. Again, we've got courses, community. We have 12 Zoom calls a week. Doctors, experts inspire together. Help you on a path to healing. #life with your best question. And the next question we have is, Carrie, what is the average consumption of beef you eat daily? 1 to 2 pounds, ? I'm bad at these questions. I don't measure anything. If I had to guess, probably about 2 pounds of beef. And then add in some eggs and bacon for breakfast. That's probably about what I ate. But again, I always tell people, especially if you're new to carnivore, don't go off of what other people are eating, because what I just described to you is what I'm doing now is drastically different than when I first started carnivore. Depending on what stage you are, you're probably going to be eating different amount of food. All right. Sandra, have high B6. How can I lower it?
Dr. Vasquez.
So most B vitamins are, not most, all B vitamins are water soluble, and usually you don't accumulate. So B12, high B12, for example, not B6, but B12, very often is because people are taking a lot of it. I don't know if you're taking, look at your supplements, look at what you're taking, make sure you're not taking any B6. And I wouldn't worry too much about it because they're water soluble, which means they're gonna get washed. But the first thing to do is make sure you're not taking any B6 in addition to what you're eating. On a carnivore diet, all the B vitamins should be pretty much normal. There's plenty in meat.
All right. Lisa's asking, where will the premiere of the HH movie be? The world famous Montello Theater.
And then the Dolby Theater
Right.
in Hollywood.
That one you can pretty much bet that'll be the first premiere, right? I think there's probably good odds there.
Good odds there. Yeah. In fact, I've already watched some of it myself there. We've got the full Bill Knott episode edited, and I watched that on the big screen already. Superhuman Theory asks, anyone notice heart palpitations during the first weeks of transition? 8 days here, felt some during my workout. After then, that I've been feeling amazing.
I did. And it was totally my fault because I didn't understand that I should probably be supplementing with electrolytes in the first first part of my carnivore journey, and I've heard others that have had heart palpitations during that period introduced electrolytes, and it helped them with their palpitations. Not saying that's your specific issue or problem, but that'd be the first place that I would look.
That's a very likely thing. And another thing is the first few days, in particular the first week, and maybe for a few weeks, you are going to be in diuresis, especially if you're coming from a standard American diet. You're going to be peeing a lot. Okay. So with that, not only fluid goes out, but like I said before, well, maybe it was in the Zoom call, but whenever water moves, it brings electrolytes with it: sodium, potassium, magnesium, chloride are lost in the urine. And if you're urinating a lot of electrolytes are moving as well. So drink enough fluids, use electrolytes, especially at the beginning. It's probably a good rule of thumb. Check your blood pressure. Sometimes because of the same diuresis, particularly if you're taking blood pressure medications, may need to be adjusted. But you also want to make sure that it's a regular, even if it's, you might be feeling your heart palpitations because now your rate went up to 90 or 95. It might be one of these issues we're mentioning. If you know how to take your pulse, make sure it's regular because it shouldn't be irregular. Any suspicion, then you might want to go to the doctor and get an EKG. Or I bought, not because I'm a doctor, I just bought something anybody can buy, which is a home little EKG, and it will tell you what your heart rate is, whether it's regular, and if it needs to be overread by a physician, they also have a service for that. I don't need that, but I've used it for me and my wife.
All right.
Cardia Mobile is what I have.
All right. Was it challenging at first regarding cravings for non-carnivore foods?
Yes, I think definitely at first. That's one of the one of the hardest things is that first 30 days, because you just got to break so many habits. You've got to get rid of habits. The cravings are there. And especially if you're addicted to the sugars, like all of us, that is, definitely one of the hardest times the first little bit. You just have to stay strong. It does get easier. That's the thing that we've all experienced, right? Is it gets way, way easier after you can get past that first 30, 60, sometimes 90 days for some folks.
Question for Dr. Nelson. How do I sign up for your coaching lesson class to become a coach? And will this be good in Florida? From Sharon.
Go to drkiltz.com and the link should be there. We're putting this from the ground up. We're not asking permission from anyone or recognition from anyone or accreditation from anyone. This is going to be a Kiltz Health certification. It's going to be primarily a keto carnivore coaching certification. It's going to be certified by us. But if your state requires any type of licensing, which for coaching, there is no such a thing. But if you're concerned about licensing, you need to check with your attorney in your state.
All right. Here's a good question for Adam, because I can't answer this one. The Simple Carnivore, whose story is your favorite from the documentary? No pressure. It's a great question.
Wow.
You have about
I don't know
60
that there's
to
a
choose from.
favorite. Yeah, I have 60 favorites.
All?
Yes, yeah, they're all my favorite. I think it's impossible to actually just pick a favorite. So the favorite I think that I would pick is the completed film, just because Dr. Baker was kind enough to give us some really high remarks for what we're doing, and I really think that I happen to agree with him. It's going to have a major impact on a lot of folks and potentially on society in general. So my favorite is the film.
Yeah, but you
It
got to
might be
pick one.
like asking Carrie which one is your favorite daughter.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, Dr. Nelson. That's exactly what I was thinking. I love them all the same. Question from
technically Maximus. Dr. Baker gave us a little carnivore story on Maximus, so maybe I'll pick Maximus.
Ketavore Crystal asks, have any of you done priming like Steak and Butter Gal? I have not.
I have not.
I sort of tried it, but I didn't complete the process.
All right. St. Sean, new here, recently discovered plants were causing my anxiety and depression. Who knew?
Yeah, I wish we all knew that a long time ago, that is potentially an issue that can be caused by plants. Yeah, it's just, it still blows my mind even today after being involved with this so much that, just simply changing what you eat to a few things can have such a profound effect, especially in the realm of anxiety and depression. And Carrie, there's a question in there about somebody asked their friend has depression, and where do we send them? I don't know if we got to that one or not, but I'll answer that one before we get to it. If we don't get to it, since we're on this question, is I would send them to Carrie's 30-day video. I think it was your 30-day video, wasn't it? Where you threw the medicine behind you, or was that another one?
I think that was a different one, but I can't find the name of it. I did a video at one time that was where I interviewed it was a compilation of about 15 people that overcame depression. That's a good video to send someone to see some other examples. Or I always tell people, get Dr. Eads' book.
I'm sorry. I would also check metabolicmind.org.
Yeah, 100%. They've got tons of stories on there, people healing bipolar, depression, anxiety. Yeah, I'm trying to find that comment, Adam, because I thought I saw it earlier.
Even schizophrenia, which is kind of the ultimate mental illness that is supposed not to be cured but managed and always will need medications. That there are people who have come off completely of medications. So it is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and Dr. Eads' book, Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind, is also incredible. Would recommend that also. Dakota, heartburn is bad, day 7. Coffee is 3 to 5 cups per day, otherwise clean. Any suggestions for heartburn on day 7?
Yeah, stop the coffee.
Yeah, that may be doing
yeah, definitely. If I have too much coffee, it definitely causes stomach upset and heartburn-like symptoms. So you're right on the money.
Mary, I have been carnivore 665 days, and one of the many things I thought I got rid of was my eczema, but I've had a flare-up for the last 3 months. Any ideas why?
Are you using dairy in any form, even butter? That, sometimes we eat cheese, butter, even if we don't think we're not using milk, yogurt, kefir. Well, that still has the milk proteins, and maybe eliminate that and see how you do.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Maybe give Lion Diet a try for a week. It's just kind of the same idea. See how you feel.
It could be the eggs as well. It could be anything, but unlikely to be the red meat.
Lori, Carrie, can't wait to meet you at the Montana meetup. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that one. July 4th weekend.
July 4th, Montana. Big fireworks show. Question for Dr. Nelson. How many hours would you fast next time, Dr. Nelson?
So I did a 240 hours fast in April, was 10 days. I haven't planned another one, but Dr. Kills keeps saying, I'm going to try to beat you 11 days. He'll never beat me. So I already beat him twice because I've done the 10 days and the arm wrestling. I don't know. We'll see.
Question from Amy. How active should a carnivore be physically? Does it depend on how long you have been sitting on the couch before carnivore? How do you find your sweet spot for working out?
So telling someone who has never exercised for whatever reason, whether it's metabolically so sick that you can't, telling someone to exercise might be really not having the right expectations, but just do more than what you do. Getting up from a chair might be difficult for someone. Doing that 2, 3, 4, 5 times is a high intensity workout. So start there, start wherever you are, and just gradually increase. Exercise or activity is important. I think it's not as important as diet. I don't think it's not important. It's certainly activity is important. We go back just 200 years. We're not talking about thousands, just 200 years ago. If you had to live 200 years ago, you would be building your own house. You would be walking or riding a horse. There were no cars, no airplanes to travel. You would have to really just do a lot of walking. Your life would have so much activity that would be insane to say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the gym and exercise." Right? You will be very active. Our current lifestyle for most of us that I live in Florida, so I always, when someone talks to me about exercise, I say, well, I don't want to be in the 90-degree weather fixing a roof in Florida. So roofers and people who work outside, and they do a lot of work, but most of us don't. Especially if we spend time in an office sitting, like, then we'll be like Adam complaining that was too much for me. And at some point in my life, it was just getting up from a chair was too much for me. So start where you are and increase gradually. Don't kill yourself doing it. Activity is good.
All right. Question from Latro. What do you think about eating some arugula for its nitric oxide effect? Would the benefit outweigh the plant's downside? I also have some beetroot extract.
Well, that would be really an individual choice. If you don't have any issues with arugula, then by all means have at it. Same thing with the beetroot extract. If you're looking in terms of, like Dr. Nelson has Sally Norton's book there, Toxic Superfoods, there's definitely some that are much higher in oxalates and phytates and lectins and things like that. So it may potentially do some good for you to look into that and weigh whether the benefits of this nitric oxide effect, which, by the way, I know nothing about, if that is good for you versus the
nitric
plant toxins.
Yeah, nitric oxide is good for you, but it comes with whatever it's in the arugula. Do deep breathing through your nose. Guess where a lot of nitric oxide gets released? In the back of your nose. Just doing deep breathing. You can do 4 seconds in, hold for 4 seconds, release for 4 seconds or any, I've seen 5 and 6 and 8 seconds. Just do deep breathing. That by itself increases your nitric oxide. You don't have to be eating any arugula or beets are famously, I think, in commercials, where else you get huge amount of sugars, by the way, beets. So
All right. Let's see here. Janine, Carrie, how do your hands and forearms feel after doing the Maggie Farmer Carrie? They feel good, but they were sore the next day. I had a long plane ride and was sitting, but I feel better now. And I was inspired by the thing I was telling Emma and the girls about it. I want to do one with the family. Adam, I'm trying to think like what would be a good weight for them to do. Maybe like a third of their body weight or something.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think I could have easily, well, not easily, but it would have been like barely getting it done if those were like maybe 30 or 40 pounds instead of 60 each.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a little intense. That was like Dr. Baker level.
Do you eat anything special for your birthday, carnivore cake, or a special cut of steak? My daughter Emma made me quiche. And she put a birthday candle in it. So
nice.
Otherwise, it's normally a steak day for me. Treat myself.
Yeah. I like to. That's the only time, either my birthday or maybe Father's Day coming up in a couple days. Might have just got myself a big tomahawk ribeye because that's for me and my dad. So, yeah, we'll be having some tomahawks.
I had a tomahawk for my last birthday. That was my birthday cake.
Hey, we got a super chat. Chris Stearns, thank you so much. You were too generous. You know you're carnivore when taco meat with a little sour cream and cheese feels like a cheat meal. Just saying. The little side of sardine.
Chris's
Thank
favorite.
you, Chris.
He loves sardines.
Nancy asks, do we know if lunch is included on Saturday at the Montana meetup?
I think it is with certain levels of their tickets. So,
yes, I believe that is. That's SBG is putting that on, and I know there's a VIP dinner afterwards, but I believe they are serving lunch as well.
I think the website's sbg.events. Is that correct, Ashley?
Yes, I think it's correct.
Check out sbg.events. Question for Dr. Nelson. My father had a liposarcoma and lost part of his pancreas, resulting in type 2 diabetes. Is it safe for him to do a keto carnivore diet?
Yes, it is. And so losing part of your pancreas is not the cause of type 2 diabetes. The classification of that type of diabetes will be other causes, diabetes for other causes. Type 2 diabetes is almost always completely preventable. We just shouldn't be putting that many carbohydrates down our mouth. I am personally one of those that did it, but we shouldn't get no doctor should know type 2 diabetes is, from a doctor's perspective. Type 1 diabetes is basically a type of, for whatever reason, a pancreas failure. Beta cells are not producing enough insulin. In his case, he lost the many insulin-producing beta cells when they removed part of his pancreas. So it all depends as far as how much insulin he actually is producing, and that can be measured. But yes, even type 1 diabetics, which produce none or very little, can do a type 1, can do a carnivore diet. You have to be careful. You have to learn how to match your blood sugars. I don't know if Emmy Perrin is here. She is famously a type 1 diabetic since age 15, I think, and she's in her 70s, and she does very well. Dr. Bernstein, who just passed away, I think, last month. He was in his 90s, still practicing. He wrote a book that for many years it's still available if you look for it. And he recommended his diet was 30 grams or less. But many do carnivore diet, which is a very minimal amount of carbohydrates. You can have carbohydrates depending on what you have. But yeah, you can do it. You just have to be careful matching the amount of insulin to what your needs are. You might need to work with a physician or at least someone who, like I mentioned, for example, Amy Perrin, she helps other people with type 1 diabetes.
Good stuff. Thank you. All right, we're going to do the drawing for the 30-day free membership to healinghumanity.life. But before we do that, do you guys have anything upcoming you want to shout out or mention?
The meetup in Boston. So go to drkiltz.com, or what's the other website, Dr. Nelson?
KiltzMeetup.com. The Boston information is there. The Montana information is there. I was just trying to look it up while answering this question. I didn't get to it, but you can go to either drkiltz.com or Kiltz Meetup, singular meetup, meat like in meat, what you eat, not meeting. And all the information is there about all the meetups where we're going to be. All the Healing Humanity meetups are there as well.
And we'll see you in Beantown.
Yeah. And today, StreamYard had a problem, big problem. The reason I was asking you, Carrie, is because between 3 and 4, I was supposed to be in a live. We couldn't make it with Christy from Meeting Wellness, and we're going to do it tomorrow. So we'll have a live at 3 p.m. out of schedule, but it's the only time when she can do it. Not tomorrow, sorry, a Monday. So Monday, 3 p.m., Tuesday, 3 p.m., and Thursday, 3 p.m. We'll be having the afternoon meetup. But we'll see you in Boston. Anybody that can go to Boston, I think tickets are still available, right? Who's keeping track of them here?
Ollie's keeping track of them, but I sent an email earlier today. I think they said there was like 31 tickets left. So they're selling quickly. There's not as many left. So you're considering jumping on.
There's a big lineup on the speakers.
Yeah, the speakers are great
for that. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
One shout out I'd like to give. We've got a couple of other meetups that are in the works right now for Healing Humanity that will hopefully be adding to the website soon. So stay tuned for that. So anytime we finalize anything, we're going to put it on the Healing Humanity .movie/events website. So make sure you keep checking there for meetups in your area, and hopefully we'll have those announcements soon. Seattle was amazing. Had a lot of fun with that, and Rhett and I just put out a video today on that with a little behind the scenes footage there. So thought that was kind of fun. So we had a blast, and it was a great time. So check that one out.
All right, good stuff. All right, here we go. We're going to give away 30-day membership to healinghumanity.life. The winner is...
The drum roll ended too soon.
Almost Dr. Nelson. Kim and Cruisin'. How does Kim claim their prize, Adam?
Well, Carrie, Kim can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway, fill out the form, and Lynn will send you a coupon code promptly. Congratulations.
Yay.
Congratulations. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us. Make sure you subscribe. Adam, Dr. Nelson, Ashley Carnivore Today. Their links are all in the description below. We do this every Thursday, 6 o'clock Central, so join us next week. And what was I going to shout? Oh, if you want to see Adam and I almost dying, or me almost dying, and our adventures with Dr. Baker, I posted that video on my channel earlier today, so consider giving that a watch. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Have a good night.